Today I'm in South Miami visiting David. As his wife Sydney hinted to me, his story is quite heavy, and David has a hard time talking about it.
Hi.
Leslie.
Hi, Sydney. Nice to see you again.
This
Hi.
is my husband, David.
Hi, David. It's
How
nice
are
to
you?
meet you. I think now I see your face. I've seen you before.
Have you?
We met before.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
I know that
you're-
for a fact.
So you're Leslie, huh?
Yes, I'm Leslie.
Oh my God, Leslie, you're a youngster.
I'm very drawn to that picture.
This photo of the joy that was captured at the liberation is far from reflecting what the end of the war looked like for David.
Next to our house in Slovakia was a mega tree, was named in the Bible as Eitz Chaim, a tree of life. That tree of life had 105 branches, and each branch was for the name of a member of our family. And in the end, there was only one branch left, me.
David had a brother and 2 little sisters, but after the war, he could not find any pictures of any member of his decimated family. The whole family lived in the wine-growing region of Cisna. His father was arrested in 1940 and sent to a labor camp. In 1941, the Slovak Nazi Party deported the rest of the family.
There were Hlinka guards, people that we remember from the neighbors, and they came with sticks and a whole bunch of them with guns, and they were beating us, and they were pushing us, and they were giving us 10 minutes and then more minutes to get out of the house. The trains came, they started to load us into the cars. You couldn't put more than maybe 50 people, and they would put in as many as 80. Most people tried to sit. There was no way to sit. There was no way to lay down. It was only standing up and falling on top of each other. And we were in this cattle car for over 2 days. They put in 2 buckets of water.
For 80 people.
Yeah. I remember my mother crying. I remember Jacobo trying to comfort us all. Approximately 25% of the people in the cattle car when they arrived in Auschwitz were either dead or dying. But my mother kept the 2 girls at her side. She was walking, she was made, she was driven. They were pushing him and they were beating him to walk towards those pits, to those holes. And then they were machine gunned and they were falling into these holes. And we could hear it, and we could hear it, and it like never stopped. Almost very much immediately after that, they came what they called appel, and someone yelled out to Jacobo that I should stand on his 2 feet, so I'll look bigger. Mm-hmm. And I remember Jacobo almost like lifting me up and put me on his 2 feet.
How old were you?
I was 11 years and 8 months old. That was before they were showered, our heads shaved, before we were tattooed. 41 72. This is in German.
Well, because you have to know it in German.
Yeah, 41, 72. And there was here and here.
What was a day in Auschwitz?
A day in Auschwitz was appel, is to get up
In the morning?
in the morning, 6 o'clock, and then we'd march to work, at least 2 to 3 kilometers. My responsibility and Jacobo's responsibility was to work on the axle of the cars. We had to clean the wheels and the axle and then put the grease. I would go to pick up those goddamn canisters of that grease, and the son of a bitch would hand me one that was twice as big, and that I'd have difficulty in carrying and maybe fall and get killed. And Jacobo knew that. He went ahead, picked the type of grease that was in smaller canisters.
For you to carry.
Yeah.
Thanks to the help of his older brother Jacob, who was then 15 years old, David managed to survive 18 months in Auschwitz. Weighted only 83 pounds. He was the only survivor of the 105 members of his. They were then sent to Buchenwald to do the same work. David remembers well the daily trip between the camp and the town of Weimar, where the cars to be cleaned were located.
And we would walk early at 6 in the morning. The people would come out of their homes with a keppel pot they would keep on their beds at night to relieve themselves. Mm-hmm. And they would throw it in our faces. Those were the people of the intelligentsia.
Weimar.
That's how they treated us. And now it's 1944. We're cleaning goddamn cars. The Germans are now aware they're losing the war. For us, it's actually worse because now they have to quick kill and kill more than they had the capacity to kill. So they go ahead and poison the pipeline of water. And we knew goddamn well that we could boil the water and we might not die. And I'm working and I'm looking for Jacobo, and I don't see him under the car. And I look for him and I saw him. He's at a water fountain and he's drinking the water. And I screamed and yelled at him, but he'd already drunk the water.
He didn't know it was poisoned?
He did. And next morning, we're marching to work. And he's weak and he can't walk. But he has to walk. And he can't walk. And falls, and I can't pull him up. And I can't stop because the bastard Gestapo guard is pushing his gun in my head. And I let go of Jacobo. And Jacobo lays dead. And then, within about 10, 20 seconds later, I hear the sound of a gunshot, and I knew that they shot him on the ground, and I never saw Jacobo after that. Maybe Jacobo felt that I can survive without him, because he said to me that he didn't want to live anymore.
The Nazis then decided to send David's commando by train to work in another camp.
All of a sudden, the train was being bombed by the Allied American Air Force. The train is on fire, and it stopped. I managed to jump out of the car, and I was running into the forest. And I was in that forest for more than 8 days. And then I was spotted. One of the soldiers was a Czech, and then he helped me and picked me up and carried me to what they called a field hospital.
At the end of the war, David, who was then 15 years old, weighed only 83 pounds. He was the only survivor of the 105 members of his family. He was placed in an orphanage in Prague and remained there until the age of 20. David was then taken by the Jewish Agency to study in the U.S. There, he met his future wife, became an engineer, and had a career in industry. But he never forgot his older brother, Jacob.
I feel that he's still protecting me, even after all these 70-some years. For me, Jacobo was everything. And when I was cold, and he was bigger, and I was weak, and I was hungry, and I was small, and I was, to say that he hovered over me is like such a minor expression, okay? Because he hovered over me, heart and soul. And even in the meanest of times, he tried to be so positive, okay? I remember he asked me once not to think about Mom and about Leah and Millie. He says, let them rest.
In 1989, with other survivors, David founded the Holocaust Memorial in Miami Beach to honor the memory of his family and the 6 million Jews who were murdered.
I think I feel that he's still protecting me, okay? Even after all these 70-some years.
Here we go. And now.
Oh my God, you you did it.
L'chaim.
L'chaim.
So, really, thank you for taking the time. Thank you for sharing your story. I told you I will make your story, I'll make sure that your story's told way after you, way after me.
Thank you so much.
You know what we say? Sei mir gesund.
You stay gesund and stark, okay?
Okay.
Will you?
Thank you. Bye. Thank you.